Welcome back, lovelies, to my channel. My name is Jasmine, owner of Jasmine's Eternal Circle. Today we are going to be looking at what's ahead for July. So down below, as some of you know, you get to pick a deck, whatever deck resonates with you. Alright, if there isn't anything resonating with you, then try again on another video. So below I have my Lightseers, I have my Sacred Forest, and I have a Mermaid Oracle as well. So it's up to you to pick the deck that you want to hear from. Alright? And if you need more time, you can pause this now and take another boo. Alright, let's get this rolling. We're going to start things off with the Lightseers Tarot and see what's going on for your month. Let's see what they have to say. I don't exactly believe in falling cards, unless I feel like it actually might have something to say. Alright. First off, we have the Empress. The Empress is in reverse. Something is holding you back from getting your full potential, your full power. Alright? Whether or not you believe or not believe in what your strengths are. Okay, so basically you have all those strengths, you have all those opportunities, you have everything that there is to have out there, but you're not recognizing it. It's almost as if you're blocking yourself from your full potential and just going and grabbing it. Okay? I also feel that for some of you there's like this kind of like fear holding you back about what there is to come, and what kind of learning you might need, especially for those that are kind of starting off on their spiritual path as well. Don't be afraid about, tackling those huge learning steps and those huge learning curves, okay? Start off small and then work your way forward toward it. So start off with small goals that are achievable for you at this time and moment, okay? And don't doubt in the power that you do have, all right? You do have a lot of strengths, you do have a lot of power, so realize that, all right? Okay, with the Five of Pentacles here, this is the week where you kind of start to see things as kind of like a little bit easier to obtain, okay? Usually when we look at the card the other way, right, the person is not realizing all those opportunities, but with it being reversed, those opportunities are now showing themselves to you. Okay? You do have the key on opening those doorways to you, and discovering what new opportunities lay ahead, okay, when it comes to the physical, which could be a job or relationships, to even the spiritual side of things as well, okay? There's lots of opportunities out there, and you need to, like I said, make yourself some small achievable goals to start yourself moving ahead, all right? Thirdly, we have the Queen of Wands, right? Lots of good success, wanting to share it with others, all right? A lot of abundance there, a lot of creativity there as well, all right? Being able to work in a team setting, all right? So all these things are tying with those new opportunities that you've had come face to you, all right? So basically, this is, to me, it's stating that that things are going to be working out fine, all right, and that you're starting to gain more of control and realizing your full potential, or realizing those hidden talents that you've had, all right? So that's a good thing. All right, and then lastly, we have the Five of Cups, all right? For you guys, it's this Five of Cups comes up, and it's almost like a reminisce of the past, all right? I feel like, it's not so much that you guys are stuck, all right? It's more of like taking those memories or those past experiences and being able to fashion them and utilize them for your future endeavors. So whatever in the past experiences that you've had, right, you're using them to your own benefit, and you realize that being stuck in the past isn't exactly beneficial for you, right, because it slows down your progress. But you're going to be able to use those past experiences in order to move forward in your endeavors, in your self-discovery and self-growth, all right? So being able to utilize that for your work, being able to grow for yourself, all right? Being able to possibly use those experiences in a new venture. It could be business, could be going back to school, learning something new, okay? It could be even starting a new relationship with someone, romantically or platonically, all right? So you're really using those past experiences in order to make something new, okay? And being more in control of your own emotional state as well, okay? So overall, very good. A little bit bumpy at the start, but you start to kind of gain momentum and trust yourself and trust your own power at the end of it, okay? Okay, we've got the Sacred Forest up next. That comes back out, and it's meant to be. first one, we have the wise woman of the grove. Make sure that whatever steps that you take when it comes to your own self-discovery and learning from others, you do so with this learning with grace. All right. So make sure that the learning, okay, you take humbly, and whatever teachings that you give to others, you give humbly. All right. We sometimes, especially when we are going to be giving lessons to others, and I see this a lot with bigger creators, so to say, it starts to kind of mess with their ego. So always remember to be humble with what you are teaching and what is being taught to you. Okay, make sure that whatever information is being taught to you as well is something that resonates with you. Okay, so you could have a book, but only 50 of those 100 pages actually resonates with you. And that's the same thing with any kind of teacher that you might have in classes, or even as a friend, right? Because we oftentimes forget that our teachers are family and friends and romantic relationships, okay? So taking what we learn from them and being able to be graceful with what we're learning, all right? But also being graceful with ourselves and allowing that grace for when we kind of stumble in our experiences or making mistakes, right? We need to have a little bit of grace with ourselves and with others. Okay, very important to remember that. So whatever learnings you're going to be learning, or whatever experiences that you're going to be going through, make sure that you do it humbly and gracefully. All right. We have the second card here, which is Water Spirit. All right. This would be a good week for you to consider manifestation. All right. So doing affirmation work and manifesting any kind of desires or dreams that you have. All right, so this week there's a lot of energy being put forth for you this week. It might feel, to you, it might feel sporadic or chaotic. All right, but that's just the power of this energy that is coming through. So very powerful energy that's coming through, which would be a very good week for you to start doing the footwork for manifestation work. All right, so start doing that. But remember, when it comes to manifestation work, you also have to do the footwork. All right, you can't just be like, I wish I had a new car. All right, no, you're gonna have to do some work behind that. So either saving up money for that car or applying for a loan for that car. Okay, you have to remember that you need to do the mundane footsteps as well when it comes to manifesting. Things don't just go poof out of thin air. All right, so make sure that you do that footwork along with that manifestation, so you can be successful in the dreams that you are trying to captivate. All right. For the third week, the energy that will be coming into you guys is the foggy bog. Okay. So whatever manifestations you're working on, you need to remember that you need to have patience when it comes to this. We can't always be able to predict what the outcome is going to be. All right. Sometimes if universe finds that the manifestation in question isn't something that you might actually need at this time, right? They might decide not to assist. All right. And sometimes universe might decide to give you something a little bit different than what you've been asking for. All right. And you have to realize that with pursuing dreams and manifestation work, depending on what you're asking for, it might take a little bit more time, and therefore you're going to need some patience. You might not be able to see the outcome of all the work that's behind everything, but remember that eventually, as long as things go positively, things will be successful, right? You can't just throw in the towel after only running 50 kilometers. You got to keep pushing yourself, right? To get to that 100 kilometers. So continue to have the patience that you need, All right, demonstrate that patience and continue to be motivated with your work. All right, because it will come through. Okay. Fourthly, we've got the Aspen spirit. All right. So, continuing on your path, you're going to have to eventually dive into yourself and find that courage and that power within you. And you're going to have to be able to pull that forth in order to carry on what you need to be doing. Like I said, the motivation part, the determination, is what you're going to be having to keep your eyes on. All right. You might even need to find yourself having the courage to even ask for a helping hand. All right. A lot of people don't like to ask for a helping hand when it comes to certain things. And I get the feeling you might be one of those as well. But it might be a good idea to maybe seek different perspectives even, or ask for that helping hand within the situation or whatever the manifestation is requiring. All right, whether it be a little bit of money, whether it be a little bit of knowledge. All right, sometimes it's a good idea to kind of swallow our pride, gather the courage, and ask for a helping hand in situations. All right, but yeah, other than that, keep working towards your goals. All right, I'm sure as long as things continue positively, things will be successful for you guys as well. All right, let's do the mermaids, see what the mermaids got to say. It seems like a lot of people are working on, like the last two decks, it seems like you guys are working on kind of like the same kind of wavelength, working towards dreams and successes. So let's see what the mermaids have to say. Hang on, guys. All right. For your first week, we have recognition. All right. Even though you may want recognition from others for the things that you've been doing, okay, it's more important that you get the recognition from self. All right, you're the one that should be the one patting yourself on the back for all the hard work and effort you've been putting into things right now. All right, especially being able to balance things in your life. All right, it's not easy to balance things, but you've been really trying, and even though there's been some struggles with that, especially emotionally, all right, you need to realize that you've done a lot, all right, and you need to be able to give yourself that recognition. Go treat yourself, do something a little bit fun, all right. You could even share some of the successes with people that are very close to you as well. Just remember that when we go to share successes, okay, we're not looking for like a huge ego boost either, right? We don't want to be like, oh, look what I did, blah, blah, blah. We're like, hey, look, this is what I did. What do you think? You know? So if you receive kind of any kind of criticisms back, remember to take those gracefully. They could actually benefit you towards working towards your goal, or the criticism can also help you build a stronger foundation in what you're doing, right? Okay. Secondly, we have contemplation. All right. The second week, you'll be looking at taking some time for yourself and doing some really heavy thinking. I get the feeling of there's almost like a really kind of life-altering choice at hand, and you really have to kind of look at both ways that you could go with this. All right. I think the best approach would be probably doing a pros and cons list. Okay, it's one of my favorite psych tools that I have, is doing pros and cons and figuring out, if I go this route, what does that look like? Pros and cons. If I go that route, what does that look like? Pros and cons. And weighing them both out and seeing, what is going to be more beneficial for you in the long run. Okay, we want to look at things in the long run versus the short term. Okay, because we want things to be a little bit more lasting, right? You might have to do a little bit more footwork for the long term, but it will be a little bit more, successful. Whereas the short-term path that you've been thinking about will be more of like a very short gratification period, but I feel like that could lead you into a little bit more troubles, especially when it comes to certain relationships around you, if that makes sense. But yeah, definitely take some time to do some contemplation work. All right, definitely weigh out the pros and cons. All right, the third week we have breaking free. All right, because the first two are pretty heavy with you wanting to get that recognition from other people and doing the contemplation work. Okay, so the third week is kind of asking you, hey, stop being so serious. It doesn't mean like putting all the responsibilities on the back burner. No. But what it does mean is taking some moments and finding fun things to do, or finding things that bring that joy into your life, right? I think sometimes when we're facing big life-altering changes, we forget that, we need that break. We can't continue staying in that kind of serious mental state forever, because it can lead to being angry and depressed, overwhelmed, stressed. So we need to find a small break in between to kind of recharge our batteries, so that way we have a fresher perspective and fresher eyes to look at the situation. Okay, that's going to be very important for you in that third week. So even, you could treat yourself to a spa day, or get your nails done, or your hair did, okay? One of those things, all right? And lastly, we have innocence for our last week. Okay, so we are talking about basically reconnecting with our kind of inner child per se. Okay, children have a very interesting sense of the world by viewing things with curiosity and with very innocent eyes. All right, so when it comes to asking yourself those big questions, remember to keep curious, like to keep digging, and to kind of look at things with a softer heart, okay, so to say. All right, so the situation at hand, I think if you were to broach it with a kind of more lighthearted sense, and not so kind of serious note, I think things would be a little bit easier here. Let me just see what else I got here. Yeah, so they're also asking you about relaxation as well. So maybe the part of the innocence is just, taking a little bit more time and viewing things with a more softer gaze, like a child would, and asking questions and taking that time to kind of take a breather, right? You could be curious about other things instead of those overwhelmingly big situations as well. Okay, so taking the time to relax and take a breath, maybe look into topics that you've been curious about and doing some research there. All right. And lastly, we are going to take a look at the collective energy for July and see what's coming up for that. I'll just drop half the deck, that's totally fine, right? It's gotta be. So we're gonna take a look and see what it says here. And yeah, July. Where is it? Okay, collective energy for July. Patience. Yeah, definitely seems with those 3 decks, patience is definitely going to be key for July and learning about our patience. All right, it says, I accept that everything happens in divine order, which is very true, right? When it comes to manifestations, when it comes to reaching our goals, when it comes to self-growth and development, we have to really have patience with that and know that if we're asking the universe of anything, that the intervention will come when it comes, and we just kind of have to believe that it's going to come at some point in time. All right, it's not going to be instant, right? If everything was instant, people would be billionaires by now, right? So really have patience with what you're doing and what you are doing with yourself as well, and what you're learning. Okay, every experience is different, everyone's growth is different. All right, everybody's manifestations are different, and just know that universe is on your side and your spirit team is looking out for you too. All right, okay guys, take care, and yeah, much prosperity and abundance in July, hopefully. Good luck.